everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith E Phillips, and we are here at the very end, the last few days of 2024. This year has really flown by, and there's been a lot. We've done a lot. So I thought we would go over the goals achieved, the goals not achieved, the highs, the lows, all of the things. On the whole though, this has been a really great year. So of course, my big goal for 2024 was to start querying my Regency romance, and I did that. Goal achieved in January. I sent my little book off into the query trenches, and I have gone through quite a few form rejections. We've gotten some full requests. We've gotten 3 book deal offers, you know, just the standard kinds of stuff. And honestly, I'm so proud of myself, which I know a lot of times we don't like saying that kind of thing because it makes you feel like full of yourself or something weird like that. But I am very proud of myself. I've worked really hard to get to this point. I feel like my writing is in a good place. It's obviously not perfect, but it's doing okay. And even though I'm ending the year without an agent, which is of course the goal of querying, I'm still feeling really positive. I'm still feeling really encouraged about where I am and how I'm doing. My original plan for this video was to do like a react to my 2024 goals video, which is something I've done for several years in the past. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. It always ends up being like an overly long video, and I don't know that we need to sit through that whole goals video again. But I did go back and rewatch it myself just to be like, wait, what did she actually say like 12 months ago? I had forgotten I'd said this one little part I'm gonna show you. But I was like, wow, that still holds very true. Is there a good chance that I'll get a literary agent this year? No. Just pure numbers, no. The chances are so incredibly low. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm ready for the experience of querying. And if it results in not getting a literary agent, it's okay. Because I've found that I'm confident in me. I'm confident in my ability to write a book, revise a book, get feedback on the book, implement feedback, and create something that is at least halfway decent. I did that last year. I did the entire thing last year, and I can do that again. So even if this isn't the book that gets me an agent, it's fine because I can make another one. I have a lot of ideas up here. So I'm confident in me that I can do this process over and over again as many times as I need to get a literary agent. Yeah. So yeah, I still feel very confident in me, and I'm ready to keep working. And honestly, it's not just confidence coming from like some interior part of me. I've had a lot of really big confidence boosting moments this year. It started back in January. When did I do this? Maybe it was even last, like 2023, end of 2023. Anyway, at some point, I got my first 10 pages critiqued by an editor. There were a lot of things that she had suggestions for, of course, but she also had some really lovely positive comments for me, which made me feel good. I also entered a writing contest. I cannot remember if I mentioned this here on YouTube or if I just talked about it in Instagram stories when I got this back, but I'll link below to this. It's Romance Through the Ages. There's I think they do it like once a year. There's a $25 like entry fee. And when I entered, it was like the first 25 pages of your project or whatever. They said your project would be reviewed by 3 judges who were in some way connected to the publishing industry, whether they were agents, editors, other authors, published authors, something like that. And then you can progress through the different rounds, blah, 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 blah. And they had on the website like a rubric of the types of things that the judges were going to be scoring your work on. And it had like a numeric kind of situation, like 1 out of 10 or whatever. And so I thought that I was going to get back a judge score sheet with just numbers, which would still be great. Like I was very happy to get that kind of thing back. I got this rubric back, this score sheet back. They have the numbers. But for each section, from 3 separate judges, they had chunky comments explaining why they had given me the score they did, which was so incredibly valuable, very much, in my opinion, worth the $25 entry fee I paid. They had some great points about like things to look at or work on or consider like zhuzhing up or whatever. But then they also had some really just, again, like super encouraging comments for me, which was just wonderful. That was awesome. That was really cool. I was very surprised by it. I didn't get past the first round in terms of like progressing through the contest or whatever, but I was like, this is such a win. I also, of course, had a 3-book publishing deal offer from a small press, which, you know, we went through that journey together. I'll link the Querying Chronicles video for that below if you missed it. And even though I did end up turning down the offer, it definitely made me feel good. It made me feel like I must be doing something right if they're offering me a 3-book deal here. And then, of course, I was selected to participate in 2024's SmoochPit Mentorship Program by Alexandra Vastine. I still can't believe that. I'm like, are you sure? She's one of my favorite historical romance authors, and she thought my project was good enough to work on like together. It's just, yeah. So a lot of really encouraging positive things this year in terms of like feedback on my writing. One of the other goals I had for myself this year was to invest in myself as a writer. This is a goal I've had, I think this was like the second year I had that as like an official goal. And I love it. I plan to continue this in 2025. I've been able this year to take a couple different online courses, classes, workshops, whatever you want to call them. I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, checking out the Writers Conservatory. They are producing some really high quality, really in-depth content when it comes to classes. They have fantasy specific classes, romance specific classes. They're calling them core classes, which are just going into more detail on like basic writing stuff that could apply to any genre. And then in 2025, they're going to be launching business focused classes in terms of like, okay, you got the book deal, now what do you do? Because this is like a business, right? Some of the classes are aimed like really specifically at traditional publishing, but there's a bunch that also like could just be for any writer, whether you're going for like trad or self-pub, doesn't matter. I'll link them below. I would definitely recommend checking them out. They launch the classes once a quarter, and you can sign up and take the classes live with the instructor and like have, you know, access to the instructor for questions and that kind of thing. But then after it goes live, they put them in the library and you can just purchase them and go through them like at your own pace, and they're cheaper by a nice little amount once they hit that library section. So you can, there's a nice, I feel like they're very well priced for what you get. Anyway, hashtag not sponsored, but I just thought I'd throw that out there in case you're looking for a high quality, good resource for like writing classes, writing focused classes. So yeah, I definitely would love to take some of the classes that they have coming up in 2025. There's some other things that I'm gonna be doing hopefully, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks when it's time for, I guess, next week. When I launched the 2025 goals video. I also had some smaller goals this year, like keeping up with this YouTube channel, which I think I've done a pretty good job at. We hit 3,000 subscribers earlier this year, which was really cool. I'm always so grateful for everyone who clicks the subscribe button, gives the videos a thumbs up, leaves me a comment. I love it. Even if you're just like one of the silent viewers, I see you in the numbers there, so thank you very much. One of the other smaller goals was just to continue the discipline of getting up and writing in the morning. This has been key to my ability to get work done. So that's definitely something I plan to continue into 2025. The other big thing I did this year that was not on my 2024 goals at all, because I wasn't even really considering it earlier in the year, but I launched a Patreon page. I ended up having like a bunch of ideas for things I could include or offer over there, and I thought I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens, and I've honestly been really blown away and surprised at the response I've gotten. It's been really fun to utilize that platform over the last couple months, and I definitely plan to continue that into 2025 and hopefully expand it. I have some other ideas that we'll see what I can manage. In my personal life, we did have some highs and lows in terms of the members of the family. Of course, back in March, we said goodbye to Junie, our little bunny. She was very old, and it was it was time for her to cross over the rainbow bridge and join her other little bunny friends over there. But it was a very weird transition because we had had bunnies at that point for 12 years, over 12 years. And then all of a sudden we didn't have any bunnies anymore. We've also had some ups and downs with our little doggy friend Jade. If you've been around, you know that she has some various neurological issues, behavioral issues, house training issues, just a lot of issues. And we've been working with a veterinary, what is he called? A veterinary behaviorist for really like 2 years now. At the beginning of January, we had a meeting with him, January 2024, right? We had a meeting with him where he was basically like, she's dangerous, and he recommended having her put down. I completely understood where he was coming from. She was dangerous. She could have injured us. She did injure us on multiple occasions, but like she really could have seriously injured us if given the opportunity. So I understood where he was coming from. I agreed that she was dangerous for sure. And I just wasn't ready yet. There were a few other things that he was like, we could try this, we could try that. And so I was like, we gotta keep trying for her a little bit longer at least. We did a little bit of switching with her medication that she's on, and over the last, I would say maybe like 5 or 6 months, it's like we've turned the corner. I'm not entirely sure what's happened, but she's just like in general, like much more calm. There are triggers that no longer, that either like don't trigger her like aggressive reactions at all, or they are much less severe than they used to be. So there's been a shift and there's been a change, and I'm so glad that we kept giving her a chance and we kept trying because she's doing a lot better. So I feel very hopeful. We have another in-person meeting with him in January 2025. We've had meetings like via Zoom throughout the year, but we have like an in-person meeting with him in January. So that'll be interesting to see like if he has any insight over like what happened. I don't know. But anyway, she is doing a lot better, which I am very, very happy about. I don't think she's ever going to be like a regular dog, but she's at least much more manageable now than she was, you know, earlier in the year. One of the other eternal, like personal goals is always to do something with the house. This house that we bought in 2019 was built in 1968, and there are quite a few things in this house that are still the original 1968 thing. And so there's a lot that needs to be like fixed and replaced and upgraded and all that kind of stuff. Most of which is like, you know, this is gonna be a $15,000 project. And it's like, well, hold on a second, you know? So anyway, we didn't actually end up doing any kind of major project, like interior project, but we did install sprinklers in the front yard back in summer of 2023. We had an incredibly hot summer here in the Houston area. Really all of Texas, I'm sure, but you know, we live in the Houston area. It was like 100 degrees every single day of the month of August, which was horrifically bad. And the rest of the summer, there was like 3 months where we had literally no rain. It was terrible. And so half of the bushes, we have like a hedge bush kind of situation in the front of the house. Half of them were just dead, just completely gone. The grass, nice and crispy. The front of the house looked ridiculous because half the bushes were dead. The grass looked horrendous. Like it just looked really run down and crappy. And so I wanted to get the old dead bushes taken out and new stuff put in, but I was like, I don't want to put in new stuff and then have another 10,000 degree summer and it all dies. So we decided to get sprinklers installed to keep things watered properly. And that was expensive, but hopefully half of our yard won't die again. So anyway, that was the big project that we were able to do this year. All in all, 2024 was a good year. I got a lot done. I got a lot of encouragement, And I'm really excited to get into 2025 and see what the year has in store for me. I hope you had a good year too. Let me know in the comments, like, what was your biggest accomplishment? What was maybe a goal that you weren't sure you were gonna hit and you did? What are some things that you like were maybe kind of close to getting but didn't quite hit it, and so that's gonna be another goal for 2025? Like, let me know how you did this year. I'll have that 2025 goals video for you next Friday, January 3rd, so be looking forward to that. In the meantime, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I post videos on Fridays usually. I do have some Tuesday videos coming over the next, I think, 2 weeks, and then then we're just gonna be doing Friday videos, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.